Well, y'all, at midnight, Melody Shari Rogers released her statement stating that she would no longer be on Love and Marriage Huntsville. After 9 seasons of sharing her life with us, she has decided to part ways with the show.
The fan base was shocked by Melody Shari's exit from Love and Marriage Huntsville. Let's face it, nobody anticipated this. She was more than just a part of the ensemble. She was the show's soulmate, the one who kept everything grounded, and the person whom viewers identified with the most. And she's gone now. However, the fact that the drama continued after she left makes this leave even more startling. Martell Holt, the man who previously attempted to destroy her, must now accept that Melody is no longer in his life.
And so whenever we tend to be rejected, that hurts our soul, us emotionally.
So my question,
that'll make us do things that we shouldn't do. Once we feel that rejection, and I felt it. My ex, she felt it, and that caused us to do things that'll hurt. Because of that rejection. I didn't think that I would be the person to, going through this divorce, breaking down and crying and stuff like that. I'd never been a person to cry.
Right.
But this situation made me a little emotional and things like that, especially, my kids, I love them so much.
Some claim that her choice to leave caught him off guard, while others think he anticipated it but chose to ignore it. In any case, his answer wasn't quiet. Their constant conflicts serve as the foundation for the show's dynamic. What would happen to him without Melody? Let's take a step back though before discussing what this implies for Martell and the rest of the cast. Melody was more than just the show's face. She was the real thing from the start. Even when it looked like everything around her was crumbling, her bravery, fortitude, and capacity to rise above the turmoil were all praised by her admirers. She was a self-assured entrepreneur, a loving mother, and a woman who refused to allow her past to define her on-screen persona. However, Melody was battling issues behind the scenes that weren't always visible. Their divorce wasn't the end of the drama with Martell. It intensified, if anything. He came up with new methods to ruin her life every season. Martell seems intent on making her life as difficult as possible, from criticizing her parenting to circulating rumors to attempting to incite the other cast members against her. And he wasn't alone. Additionally, several of her co-stars weren't exactly her biggest fans. The alliances were obvious, and sadly for Melody, many of them worked against her. Even when the cameras weren't filming, the anxiety was genuine. Fans were unable to ignore how alone she appeared at times. She seemed to be fighting battle after battle, always on the defense. The problem is that drama is what reality TV is all about. The producers were aware that Melody's private life was a huge source of viewers. Was she being forced into toxic situations for the sake of producing quality television? It certainly appeared to be. Whether she wanted to or not, Melody kept finding herself in the center of the storm.
Let's talk about your morals or lack thereof. Let's talk about your integrity or lack thereof. Let's talk about that. Okay? Let's talk about some stuff that actually has a little bit of substance. Okay? Secondly, girl, you're talking about I filed bankruptcy. Yes, sweetie, after your boyfriend filed. After he filed. So I didn't want everything to fall on me, not because I couldn't take care of everything. So let's get the facts straight. But I'm sure you have still continued to listen to all the lies that he gave. You know what? I finally understand why you was able to be a side chick for 5 years, because you dumb.
Was it all worth it? One may ask. Fans saw a shift in Melody throughout the last few seasons. She was initially devoted to the show, ready to participate in the drama and struggle for a spot. Slowly though, something changed. She began to back off. Her mood shifted. The trivial quarrels no longer appeared to fascinate her. She put more of an emphasis on her music, her businesses, and being the greatest mother she could be. However, the criticism she encountered persisted in spite of her attempts to move on. In retrospect, it's evident that her choice to leave wasn't made on the spur of the moment. For years, this has been simmering. Despite the signs, nobody thought she would go, especially not in this manner. Once more, Martell's name was at the center of rumors of behind-the-scenes drama that had been circulating for months. He continued to stir the pot, which was his specialty. However, it felt different this time. He appeared to be getting away with it this time. He was still being given a platform to mess with Melody's life, rather than being punished. Additionally, Melody found herself with less and fewer people she could trust as the cast dynamics began to change. The network itself comes next. Producers of reality TV will stop at nothing to maintain high viewership. To make things more fascinating, They invent drama, advance plots, and occasionally even rewrite events.
I know you should be shaking your dang on head at yourself. I ain't did. You always doing. You was doing 3 days ago in Houston. What is you blowing up and saying all these inaccuracies for to these people? You always doing that. You always doing. No, it ain't accurate. No, it's not actually accurate. You said to me that when we were married, I was going to hotels cheating on you. That's a goddamn lie.
I didn't say you wanted to.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that you was.
Yes, you did.
There's
and
a
you've said it multiple times.
There's a possibility, because like me.
Well, we know you were cheating.
It's okay. Okay. I'm sorry for that.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Not
if
sorry
I knew
for
they was
cheating.
going to destroy what we had, all this, it wouldn't have been like it is.
Did Melody have to go through anything she didn't want to? Did they set her up for failure? One can't help but wonder if she got to the point where she had to go. What was her breaking point, though, is the actual question. What ultimately caused her to declare, "Enough is enough"? Was it yet another cast member's betrayal? A power move behind the scenes that forced her out? Or did Martell ultimately step over a line from which she was unable to recover? There's no denying that Melody wasn't simply quitting a television program. She had something to say, a declaration that she had had enough of the poisonous atmosphere, the manipulation, and the role that no longer served her. Love and marriage. Huntsville is in a difficult situation as a result of her absence. Her story, her marriage, her divorce, and her ascent above the turmoil was the focus of the show. Can it even survive without her? More significantly, what will happen to Melody next? Because there's no doubt that we will hear from her again. However, what about Martell? How is he actually responding to her leaving? He's behaving as like it's not a huge deal. However, anyone who knows Martell is aware that there is typically something simmering beneath the surface when he plays it cool, and it didn't take long for the cracks to appear, as part 2 will demonstrate. Martell Holt seemed not to be bothered by Melody Shari's announcement that she was leaving love and marriage. Huntsville. Suddenly, the man who had been attempting to destroy her for years didn't seem to care. He pretended that her departure was unimportant. However, everybody who knows Martell is aware that there is always something smoldering beneath the surface when he is appearing overly composed. Indeed, it was not long before the cracks began to emerge. Melody was the center of Martell's whole presence on the show for years.
I was stemming from that, what I did, that I
repeatedly
so just regret from the depths of my heart. I regret. I'm like, if I knew, now it's like it wouldn't be this way. You know what I'm saying?
You should have listened.
He remained in the spotlight because of their marriage, their tumultuous divorce, and their never-ending arguments. But what was left for him now that Melody was gone? He was no longer the well-respected husband and father he had once presented himself as. His business endeavors had suffered greatly, and his public image was in ruins. Melody's exit was more than just her leaving the show, whether he wanted to acknowledge it or not. It was her leaving his chance to remain relevant. Even though Martell put on a strong front, his admirers didn't believe it. They saw the change right away. He initially made an effort to minimize Melody's departure, acting as though it had no bearing on him. However, it didn't take him long to begin making subtle teasing remarks about her. He started to appear in public more frequently, mentioning her name even when it wasn't required. Although he pretended to have moved on, the fact that he continued bringing her up said it all. Martell was having trouble establishing himself on the show without Melody. What did he do then? He began searching for alternative means of remaining involved. People will do crazy things out of desperation, and Martell was no different. In order to maintain his screen time, some fans conjectured that he could attempt to cause conflict with other cast members. Others thought he would try to change history by making Melody appear to be the villain and himself the victim. The problem is that nobody was buying it. Melody's life had been a living hell for years due of Martell.
And it's a wrap for Melody Shari Rogers on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She's officially announced that she will not be returning to the reality TV series. Look, there have been a lot of signs that Melody was done with OWN, that she was done with Carlos, because she unfollowed him. She's said some things on social media, and most recently, she revealed some things about her issues with the show and how it's being produced. And someone, a producer on her show, basically wanted to be her TV manager. And when she said no, she felt as if there was retaliation.
He persisted in criticizing her personality, casting doubt on her parenting, and starting pointless arguments even after their divorce. And it was obvious that he was losing control of the story now that she was gone. His plot was unraveling without Melody. However, Martell wasn't alone in feeling uneasy. Melody's departure threw the entire program into disarray. The producers were faced with a huge challenge. Melody had been at the center of Love and Marriage, Huntsville from the start. Her tale, her tenacity, and her capacity to rise above the drama drew admirers. She was a force to be reckoned with, not simply another reality TV personality. The entire dynamic of the show had to change when she left. What, therefore, did the makers accomplish? They began searching for a replacement for her. Kimmy Scott and Letitia Scott, among other cast members, probably thought this was their chance to take center stage. In the larger battles, they had always taken a backseat. But now that Melody was gone, there was a power vacuum. Would they take the initiative and strive to be the main attraction? Could they truly steal a show if they did? Then Martell appeared. He most likely saw this as his opportunity to claim the show without Melody. But what's the issue? She had always been central to his entire plot. Did he have enough to carry his own story without her? Fans weren't entirely certain. Without Melody, many thought the show would have trouble holding viewers' attention. Whether you liked her or not, there was no denying that Melody added complexity, genuineness, and real-life hardships to the show, which made it captivating. Was there still enough drama to keep folks interested when she was gone? And then, just when fans believed they understood everything, a startling leak completely changed the course of events. According to a communication that was leaked, Melody might not have gone alone. Rather, she appeared to have been pushed out. There had been rumors for months that Melody was becoming more and more alone. She was already emotionally spent from the drama with Martell, but that wasn't the only problem. Things had become even more challenging due to the cast's shifting allegiances, ongoing backstabbing, and potential producer meddling. But everything changed because of this leak. It suggested that instead of walking away, Melody might have been evicted. If that's the case, the key question is, who was responsible? The makers intended to change things up, according to some fans. Drama is the main focus of reality TV, and when a celebrity gains too much popularity, they are occasionally cut to make place for new plots. Is it possible that the network determined Melody was becoming too significant? Was there conflict with the superiors as a result of her influence behind the scenes? There was Martell after that. Was he involved in this whole thing? During their marriage and after their divorce, Martell had spent years attempting to exert control over Melody. Was this the last time he tried to eject her? Did he find another means to get rid of her since he couldn't defeat her on camera? When fans began to speculate that certain cast members might have been involved, the situation became even more chaotic. People have been noticing Melody's seeming marginalization for some time. She felt increasingly alone, and the show seemed to be moving away from her point of view. It would explain a lot if this leak was real. The treachery, the deception, the covert plans, everything was beginning to surface. The real story was just beginning, but the Melody was gone. Love and Marriage. Huntsville was experiencing a severe identity crisis once she left the picture. Without its biggest star, could it even make it? Would the show's intensity, tension, and emotional impact remain the same? There was Martell after that. He may have believed that this was his chance to shine, but in truth, he might have simply lost the one thing that made him stand out. Melody had always been at the center of his entire plot. What did he even offer to the table without her? Letitia and Kimmy, among other cast members, may attempt to take over, but are they truly capable of carrying the show? Would viewers still pay attention if Melody weren't there? Opinions were everywhere, and many were already discussing whether the show could continue without her. The most important question of all, though, is whether Melody's departure was permanent. There is always a potential that she may make a spectacular return if she was forced to leave. And you know it won't be quiet if that occurs. Speaking of Martell, his response to everything was quite telling. Although he may be pretending it doesn't matter, he is aware of the reality. His tenure on the show may be coming to an end without Melody. The entire incident has become the subject of fan feedback. They really tried to push her out. One commenter said, "No Melody, no show." Simple as that. Another person wrote, "Exactly." A third participant said, "Wow, I'm done with this show. Watch how quickly this backfires on him." Martell thought he won. What do you think then? Did Melody really decide to leave? Or did she have to leave? More significantly, will Love and Marriage, Huntsville, be able to continue without her? The circumstances behind Melody Shari's departure from Love and Marriage. Hunskill took yet another surprising turn just when fans believed they had all the answers. The increasing rumor that she hadn't quit the show completely on her own volition was fueled by more leaks. Rather, it appeared like forces operating behind the scenes had been against her for a while. Drama is a staple of the reality TV business, but it can also occur behind the scenes as well as in front of the cameras. Melody was more than just a member of the cast. She was the focal point of the program, the one whose plots captivated audiences, and the reason a large number of viewers tuned in each week. However, what occurs when a reality star grows too large, too powerful, and too influential within their own program? Rumors circulated for months that producers wanted to change things up. Some said it was more difficult to maintain narrative control because of Melody's domination on the show. Others conjectured that there was pressure to change the power dynamics and concentrate on other cast members. It was obvious that something had changed regardless of the cause. Melody had been quietly pushed to the sidelines after being the clear leader. However, who stood to gain the most from her departure? Martell Holt was blamed by some. He had been attempting to discredit Melody in both public and private settings for years. Was he using this as a means of regaining control? He had the opportunity to change history and the audience's perception of him without Melody present. She had stopped calling him out on his lies, and he was free to defend himself against her. He was free to present his version of events without opposition as she was gone. However, there were other people who might have contributed to this besides Martell. Melody had long-standing problems with some of the cast members, and alliances on reality TV can be just as risky as the disputes. Could it be that some of them had been working behind the scenes to get her kicked out? Melody appeared to have been fighting on several fronts. Martell, the cast, and even the production crew, the more people spoke. Then there was the actual network. Reality TV is a business, not just a storytelling medium. Drama equals ratings, and ratings equal money. If the network believed that keeping Melody in the mix wasn't profitable in the long run, they might have made moves to phase her out. But the real question is, was that the right call? Because if fan reactions were anything to go by, love and marriage, Hunskill might have just made the biggest mistake. The moment Melody's exit was confirmed, social media erupted. Fans were furious. People weren't just upset, they were ready to walk away from the show entirely. One viewer tweeted, "If Melody was forced out, OWN just lost a loyal viewer. No Melody, no show." Another commented, "This is insane. They really let Melody go just to push other people forward. The show will never be the same." And then there were those who felt that this move would completely backfire on Martell. One fan wrote, "Martell is celebrating now, but he has no idea what's coming." Melody was the reason people even paid attention to him. Watch how fast he phased into irrelevance. The fallout was immediate. People started questioning whether they would continue supporting the show. Ratings were already fluctuating in recent seasons, and now, without its biggest star, could love and marriage Hunskill survive? But here's the twist: just because Melody is gone now doesn't mean she's gone forever. Reality TV has a way of bringing people back when the drama reaches its peak. If the backlash continues, if ratings drop, if the show starts losing its impact, the producers might have no choice but to do the one thing they didn't expect: call Melody back. And you know it won't be quiet if that occurs. Melody Shari is not someone who fades into the background. If she ever returns, she'll come back stronger, with more influence than ever before. And this time she'll know exactly who was working against her. But what do you think? Was Melody's exit a personal choice, or was she pushed out by forces beyond her control? Can love and marriage Hunskill survive without her? If she ever comes back, how will it change the game? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest celebrity tea. Because trust me, this story is far from over.